revolutionizing the way people treat people in business. The Experience Pros, America's home for positive business talk.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for ours. I before E, except after C, except when the word ends in Y, and I don't know why.
Well, that might be how you spell it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that's how you communicate it.
Oh.
Right? Do you want to be a better communicator? Have you ever felt like what you say and what people hear are not the same thing?
It is a daily occurrence.
It happens though, right? We think we're communicating. We think we've got the whole thing all figured out, and we're telling people and we're posting and we're sharing and we're telling them about our business and this is what we do and this is who we serve and this is the benefit. But, most people aren't really tracking with us.
I agree. So what do we do?
How do we become a better communicator? Well, according to success.com, they've got a couple of tips. We won't be able to get through all of them, but we'll share this on our Facebook group. You can actually follow us on Facebook at Experience Pros, where you can always get the videos of every episode of the day. And then also you can tag into and become a part of our private Facebook group, where we actually do training on how to empower you to build your brand on the radio, to use media to become a micro-influencer, all of that.
Step number 1, bribe them.
Bribe them.
You want to be a better communicator? Hang out the good stuff. I got a giveaway.
Right. So I remember, years ago, we were chamber members, and as chamber members, we would often get invited to events where maybe there were dignitaries, maybe there were politicians. Sure. There were, deans and, just kind of this higher echelon of what I was used to hanging out with. Right. And so what do you say when you are approaching somebody, like, hi, nice to meet you. Nice coat. Right. Like, how do you talk to somebody? How do you add value to the conversation? And so that's what Eric is saying, bribe them. Have something of value that you're bringing to the conversation.
You could lead with, we've got bacon.
That's always.
Now you've got my attention. Mm-hmm. I am listening to everything that you just are about to say.
Or an actionable item that people can walk away with, and if you want, what is our favorite thing, our favorite person to talk about is ourselves, right? So if you're going to be a good communicator, it's allowing that person to have just as much, if not more time in the talking space.
And therein lies the second point. We got to learn to listen.
Right. But not just close your mouth and wait for the pause. Not close your mouth and while they're talking, you're thinking of your next thing that you want to say, but actually actively listening to what it is. When you actively listen, you'll come up with what to say next. You'll come up with another question to keep them going, because it won't be all focused on you. And here's the thing too, then when it's your turn to speak, people are more willing to listen if they believe you listened to them first.
Absolutely. I believe it was President Roosevelt that used the idea of speak softly but carry a big stick. And the thought on that is he was choosing the right opportunity for his points. He would wait, listen, let everybody else do their contribution. And then when it was his time, he literally softened his tone so people leaned in, and then he delivered the goods.
Right, but how often do we yell? Right? You didn't hear me? I say it again even louder.
Right.
Okay, it wasn't that I couldn't hear you. I don't understand what it is you're saying, but what do? We respond with the exact same thing, but just louder. And so when we're thinking about communicating and the messaging, if somebody didn't understand it, do you want me to repeat it? Or do you want me to rephrase it? Because one of two things. Maybe I didn't hear all the words.
Or maybe just didn't get what.
Or I didn't get it.
Right.
Would you like me to repeat it? Or would you like me to rephrase that? Now, we're not being assaulting on them. You want me to repeat it or do you want me to rephrase it?
Yeah. If you're doing that tone, you're going to get a third option.
It's the
where you can put it.
And so when somebody says what, or I didn't, can you say that? What, right? Just how do you want that? Do you need me to repeat it or do you want me to rephrase it? Now we're communicating, people, right? Right? Don't be the person who needs to comment on everything.
Well, let me comment about that.
Right? When we became radio hosts and now we're interviewing, I remember another gal who's became a radio host and was interviewing, and she had a guest on her show who, had a, 10-minute interview on her show.
Yeah.
This woman after the show listened to the program and I guess set a timer for how much time she actually had to talk.
Right.
And of her 10 minutes, she only got to speak for like 3 or 4 of them.
Right.
Because the host, the interviewer,
was commenting and firing back.
Right. We always have a story to add to your story, right? When we're listening to somebody tell us a story or to recount their day we always have something we could add to that, right? An experience, a memory, oh my gosh, that happened to me once. And I remember when I was talking to a client, and we all have something we can add to it. This is the art of communication where let them finish their story, let them, and ask more questions about that. But this is where we tend to interrupt. And now it's back on me. Okay, they didn't finish their story, and now you just stole the whole thing. And especially if you're in a group with other people, I might have wanted to continue to hear the end of her story before you hijacked it.
Yes, all of that so important. The next one is cut the fluff. Get straight to the point. Don't waste people's time. In a group setting, anyone who's long-winded loses the attention of the group and slows the progress of the conversation. Always cut the fluff. You
want to become a better communicator? Notify your face that you're having a good time.
Smile.
If you smile and nod along as others speak, then they're going to be encouraged to open up and to continue to share and to smile or to continue to speak versus if you, and again, we probably are really engaged in the conversation. We're probably having a really good time. But in our natural relaxed state, our faces tend to look like we're frowning.
Right.
Our body language tends to look like we're grumpy, right? Maybe we have our hands on our hips or we've got our arms crossed. That's our natural relaxed state. It doesn't mean we're grumpy, but we have to intentionally, lift our shoulders up, lift the corners of our mouth up and listen and engage and participate in the conversation. It doesn't come naturally. But when you can be intentional and in your head and think about how can I engage with this person just with my body language? Because remember, only 7% of our communication is in the words we say.
All right. Well, there it is for today's episode of the Experience Pros Radio Show. We want to say thank you for tuning in. It's our privilege to be your hosts. ExperiencePros.com is where you can get the archives. And if you'd like a free gift, go get WeMakeYouVisible.com. It's our new audio CD of how to become a micro-influencer.
You're listening to the Experience Pros Radio Show, America's home for positive business.